in the steamy heart of the Mekong Delta. A French archaeologist named Louis Malloret was digging through the mud in the 1940s. World War II raged across the globe. Indochina was in chaos. But Malloret kept working at a remote site, locals called OCEO. One day, his team pulled something extraordinary from the earth. A small gold pendant, no bigger than a coin, with the unmistakable profile of a Roman emperor. Crisp features, imperial laurels, the kind of face you'd expect on a coin from the Eternal City. But this wasn't money. It had a rough, handcrafted feel, a tiny loop soldered on top so someone could wear it around their neck. Thousands of miles from Rome, deep in Vietnam, how on earth did an emperor's face end up here? It wasn't a genuine Roman coin. It was a local copy, made right here in Southeast Asia. And that makes the mystery even more fascinating, because if this little pendant was a replica, it means the original image had traveled an almost impossible distance, across the Mediterranean, through the Red Sea, over the Indian Ocean, and into the workshops of the Funan Kingdom. Someone, somewhere along that chain, had seen a real Roman aureus, or studied the emperor's portrait, and recreated it. The face of power had crossed the known world and become jewelry for Southeast Asian elites. Today, let's follow that exact journey, step by step. The real story of how one Roman emperor's image sailed farther east than any legion ever marched. Grab a seat. This is a 2,000-year voyage you won't forget. Picture the year 180 AD. Rome is at the height of its power under Emperor Commodus, son of the philosopher King Marcus Aurelius. In the imperial mints, craftsmen are working late into the night. Molten gold is poured into blanks, red-hot discs are placed between engraved dies, and with a single hammer strike lang, the emperor's stern profile is stamped forever. These value gold aurii weren't just coins. They were propaganda, payment, and portable prestige all in one. Our particular aureus leaves the mint in a leather pouch, handed over as part of a merchant's contract. The trader doesn't technoids yet, but this little piece of gold is about to begin the longest journey of its life. First stop, the bustling ports of Ostia and Portus near Rome. Massive grain ships, spice traders, and merchant vessels crowd the docks built by emperors like Claudius and Trajan. Our merchant loads up and sets sail for Alexandria in Egypt. The voyage takes 10 to 14 days if the winds are kind, longer if they're not. Along the way, the ship might put in at Sicily or Crete, trading wine for olive oil, picking up secondary cargo. Alexandria is the beating heart of the Roman East, a cosmopolitan melting pot of Egyptians, Greeks, Jews, Romans, and traders from everywhere. Warehouses overflow with grain headed west and luxury goods headed east. Here, our aureus changes hands again. It's no longer just Roman money. In Egypt's unique currency system, it becomes portable, trustworthy, gold perfect for settling big deals with Eastern merchants connected to the Red Sea trade. From Alexandria, the coin travels south along desert roads, or the Nile to the Red Sea ports. Like Myos, these were the gateways to the Indian Ocean. Monsoon winds dictated everything. Sail too early or too late, and you'd be stuck. But time it right, and you could ride the southwest monsoon straight to India's west coast. Our merchant links up with Arab and Indian traders who have been making this run for generations. The aureus is traded for pepper, pearls, silk, or incense goods that will fetch a fortune back in Rome. In the markets of southern Arabia, places like Musa and modern Yemen, the coin passes through hands that deal in frankincense and myrrh. Roman gold was prized here not just for its weight, but for its reliability. The emperor's face was hard to fake and easy to recognize. Now, the real adventure begins. The coin boards a large Indian Ocean merchant ship sleek, stitched plank hulls built for the open sea. The southwest monsoon pushes it across to the Malabar coast of India, landing at famous ports the Romans called Mosiris. These were thriving intrepids, where Roman coins have actually been found by the thousands in hoards. Indian merchants knew exactly what these aurii were worth. Some were melted down, others turned into jewelry. In suit, as punching a hole in a Roman coin and wearing it as a pendant was already a known practice. Our aureus or its freshly copied image enters the workshops of goldsmiths who have seen hundreds of these coins. They study the profile, the laurel wreath, the imperial gaze, and begin casting their own versions. But the journey isn't over. From India's east coast, goods and ideas crossed the Bay of Bengal in another monsoon leg. Ships hugged the coast or struck out for the Malay Peninsula, then swung north into the Gulf of Thailand. This was the maritime Silk Road at its busiest. Here, in the Funan Kingdom centered in what is now southern Vietnam and Cambodia, local elites controlled the choke point between the Indian Ocean and the South China Sea. Funan was a powerhouse of trade from the 1st to 6th centuries AD. Chinese records describe it as a wealthy realm with kings who sent embassies to the Han court. One famous Chinese text even mentions a Roman embassy arriving by sea in 166 AD, claiming to represent each in the Roman Empire. Most historians think these were actually merchants or middlemen, not official Roman diplomats. But the connection was real. By the time our pendant reaches OCEO, the image has been transformed. Local Funan craftsmen, inspired by the Roman originals that had trickled in through Indian middlemen, created their own gold pendants. They didn't just copy the coin, they improved it for local taste. One thin gold sheet version mimics an Araeus of Antoninus Pius from around 150 to add. Another thicker, single-sided cast piece copies Commodus from around 192 AD. They added loops, gave the metal a slightly rougher texture suited to tropical humidity, and turned cold imperial propaganda into wearable status symbols. An elite in the Mekong Delta could wear the face of a distant emperor on their chest and signal to everyone, "I am connected to the greatest trade networks on Earth." OCIO itself was no backwater. Archaeologists have uncovered beads from India, glass from the Mediterranean, and religious icons, showing the spread of Hinduism and Buddhism. It was a cosmopolitan port city, sometimes identified with the mysterious Katagara mentioned in ancient geography books. Malare's excavations in the 1940s revealed a sophisticated society built on long-distance trade. The pendant wasn't lost by a shipwrecked Roman sailor. It arrived through hundreds of hands, passed along a chain of merchants who never met one another, each taking a small profit and moving the image one step farther east. Think about what that means. A single Roman emperor's face traveled over 9,000 kilometers farther than any Roman legion ever marched without a single Roman soldier setting foot in Vietnam. It crossed 3 oceans, survived monsoons, desert caravans, and pirate-prone seas. Along the way, it stopped being money and became something more powerful. A symbol of exotic prestige. In Rome, it paid soldiers. In India, it bought pepper. In Funan, it decorated the neck of a local lord. The image outlived the metal itself. Even after the original coin might have been melted down, its portrait lived on in these beautiful local copies. Similar Roman style gold pendants have turned up at other sites in Thailand and Malaysia. Some still have the stone molds used to cast them, proof that Southeast Asian artisans were actively producing these Roman faces themselves. One little piece of gold reveals an entire global system, the maritime Silk Road that linked Rome, India, and Southeast Asia in a web of commerce and culture long before anyone dreamed of globalization. So the next time you look at an old coin or a piece of ancient jewelry, remember this story. Empires rose and fell, but the desire to trade, to own something rare, to show off a little piece of the wider world that never changed. A Roman emperor's face ended up in the mud of the Mekong Delta, not because Romans sailed there, but because the ancient world was far more connected than most history books ever admit. If you loved this deep dive into forgotten trade routes and mind-blowing ancient journeys, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss the next one. We've got more stories like this coming: lost artifacts, secret sea lanes, and the incredible ways our ancestors stayed connected across oceans. Want to explore the full route? Check the description for high-quality printable maps designed by historians. Drop a comment below. What other ancient object do you want us to trace across the globe? Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode, where history comes alive, one artifact at a time.